Welcome back everyone, Brian from Off the Chip, and this week we're going to be working on the scrap steer. So the goal is to get the wheel wells installed and the vertical risers for the arms. Also, depending on when the parts get here, we might be doing the tires as well. So this is where we left off last week. The frame was tacked together, and I have the stiffening plates welded in. And now, let's go look and see how we're going to do our wheel wells. So this C-channel is 8 inches across, 2 1/4 tall, and again, I think this is 3/16 wall. All right, so I went ahead and cut this at 53 inches, which is just the most I could get out of my material. So this is the same tubing I'll be using for the arm riser, and I just went in here and I traced it and cut it out. And if you're curious, it's 3x7 quarter wall. Now I also went ahead and made one for the other side too. It's just the exact inverse of that one. Now I don't think I mentioned this in the last video, but the tires I'm gonna be using are from an old Hyundai, and they're 175/70 R13s. The overall diameter is like 22.5, so I know I need at least like 12 inches high from the center line just to clear them. But I'm gonna go ahead and just to keep things simple, I'm gonna build a 12-inch riser on here, and then I'm gonna weld it to the back of here. So let's go make some risers for this. Boom, just like that, there's our riser. So it is 12 inches tall, and this is the same 2x6 tubing I used down here. So I want this to be flush with the outside. So this baby's gonna end up somewhere on here like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this flush with the top here and weld it right along the side. Now I also need to make a riser for the front, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, here's our front riser. I add a nice little taper here just to add a little bit of style. And what we're gonna do is now tack this one in place, since I know it has to go here. I made one for the other side too. And then that's gonna be basically the slave side. So I think I'm gonna tack it to there first, and then we're gonna hold the whole thing up, figure out its position. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hold the second one up too before I tack anything in place, just so I have a better idea what it looks like. It's still just being held up by those clamps, but you know, this thing is huge. When I was thinking 44 inches wide, I was comparing it to like the side of a sheet of drywall. I was like, it's 4 inches shorter than a sheet of drywall in its width. I think that's what was throwing me off, but I'm gonna go ahead and tack this together now. Well, there she is, tacked in place. The next thing to do is put the uprights in, I think. I think the arms are gonna look something like this. I'm not gonna tack it up here at the top just yet. There's a spreader bar that needs to go between the two, and I think I'm gonna put the spreader bar in first and then tack it. It's a slight change of plans because this thing is getting heavy really quick. We're gonna end up taking this off, and then we're gonna finish weld out the frame, drop in a support up front, and then go ahead and start putting the arms back on when it's level.
Putting the base plate, and we got a bunch of this sheet steel, and get a piece of this up between 14, 12 gauge, something like that. I'm not sure. It'll work for what we need to be plenty strong. And so we threw 2 of these on here. They just fit in between the frame, and they almost sit flush. So put 2 of these together, you need a makeshift base plate. That will do us just fine.
Well, here we got the main supports tacked up, and they are pretty darn square. And Shazam, she is welded. So we look at arms welded around, same the bottom, and of course, as you can imagine, same with the top. I think that's how we're gonna leave it off for today. All right, after my brother gets done criticizing my long hair, we'll go ahead and continue on. No. So the next time we'll be doing bearings, tires, sprockets, stuff like that. Until then, peace. What are you doing up there?
Not your concrete.
Yeah, it likely is just the concrete.
Yeah.
Because it is definitely still square. My gosh, you could about hit your head in the ceiling. Oh, nope, you can.